Men think women lose desire with age, but that's only because older women have learned to hide it better. Desire doesn't fade, it evolves. It shifts from impulse to intention, from chaos to control. The truth is, the older she gets, the stronger her hunger becomes. But she's learned the cost of showing it. She's learned that men fear what they can't understand. So she keeps her fire beneath composure, her craving behind calm. She's not colder, she's sharper, and the more she masters her emotions, the more dangerous her desire becomes. Because when a woman stops needing to prove her worth, she starts learning how to wield it. That's the secret no one talks about, the hidden psychology of mature lust. Welcome back to Psychology Decoded. Today we're dissecting why older women lust harder and hide it better. They told her desire fades with time. They were wrong. Because nature doesn't die quietly, it adapts. When the threat of pregnancy disappears, when the urgency to reproduce fades, something unexpected happens. The body stops guarding itself and starts feeling again. In evolutionary terms, it makes no sense. Desire after fertility. Yet biology is ruthless with its paradoxes. When reproduction ends, consciousness expands. The same hormones that once protected her from risk now fuel curiosity. Estrogen dips, testosterone rises, and with it a subtle shift in dominance. It's not that she wants more partners, it's that she finally wants without fear. In youth, lust was impulsive, chaotic, sometimes insecure. But now it's deliberate. Every touch carries intention, every glance, experience, because for the first time, she's not performing for approval. She's experimenting with truth. Her sexuality becomes less about attraction and more about connection. Not, can I have him, but can he handle me? That's the shift most men never understand. Younger desire seeks validation. Older desire seeks revelation. Freud would have called it libido unbound, repressed energy finally returning to the body. Years of holding back the good girl image, the social expectations all collapse under one truth. She's still here, and her hunger never left. But there's a reason this stage scares men. Because youthful desire flatters the ego. It chases and admires. Mature desire challenges it. It asks for presence, depth, composure. And most men mistake that intensity for danger, when in reality, it's the purest form of feminine power. The younger woman seeks approval through desire. The older woman seeks freedom within it. One burns fast, the other burns forever. Because once a woman stops needing attention, she begins to use it, and that's where lust transforms into influence. She no longer needs attention, she uses it. In her 20s, she learned the performance, the soft laugh, the careful touch, the need to be liked. It worked then, but now she understands something deeper. Desire isn't about being seen, it's about seeing clearly. Younger women equate sexuality with approval. Older women view it as communication. It's no longer a signal for validation. It's a language of confidence. Freud would call it the return of the repressed. Years of restraint stored beneath the surface, now rising as assertive sensuality. All the polite smiles, the boundaries, the control, they were armor. And one day, she realizes she doesn't need it anymore. She stops seeking the mirror of male desire and becomes the initiator. Her power isn't in waiting, it's in choosing. And every choice she makes comes with gravity. What she once offered to be loved, she now offers to be understood. Because attention has no value to a woman who already knows her worth. That's what most men miss. The moment she stops chasing validation, she starts embodying control, and that shift changes everything, especially the power dynamic. Because the woman who no longer needs you to want her is the one who can truly move you. The older she gets, the less she chases, because now he does. There's a quiet danger in women who no longer seek permission. They've seen enough, felt enough, learned enough to understand that power doesn't need to be shown, it needs to be felt. This is where lust evolves into strategy. Her energy becomes controlled, her gaze deliberate, her silence magnetic. She knows that attention is the easiest currency to earn and the most powerful to withhold. The young woman uses her body to attract. The mature woman uses her energy to disarm. She doesn't have to speak much because presence is her language. And when she finally decides to touch, it's never an accident. Men call it mystery, but it's not mystery. It's mastery. The kind that comes from understanding human nature so deeply that you no longer fight for control. You guide it. This is the dark feminine, the part of womanhood that men both crave and fear. She doesn't seduce to be chosen. She seduces to reveal weakness, because every reaction she pulls from you tells her who you are. Your stillness, your patience, your restraint. They all become tests you don't even know you're taking. She reads silence like a confession and hesitation like a wound. The dark feminine doesn't chase conquest. She studies surrender. It's why she can bring out sides of a man that no one else can. Not by forcing him, but by awakening what he's tried to hide. And once that happens, he's never the same again. Most men think they want that kind of woman until they meet her, because she doesn't respond to flattery. She responds to composure. And if you lose yours, she owns you. But the man who remains centered, who doesn't react, becomes the only one she respects. Because he doesn't see her intensity as threat, he sees it as reflection. The dark feminine only surrenders to the man who doesn't need to control her. Every pulse of desire is a reminder that she's still alive. There's a point in a woman's life when she stops chasing attention and starts chasing aliveness. When she stops asking, "Does he love me?" and begins wondering, "Do I still feel?" This is the silent transformation of midlife, the point where lust stops being about men and starts being about meaning. You see, lust isn't always sexual. It's existential. It's the body's rebellion against numbness, the soul's way of saying, "I'm still here." She feels time pressing against her skin, and that awareness ignites something primal, not desperation, but defiance. She desires not to be young again, but to be awake again. Every risk becomes a reminder that she can still choose. Every touch becomes proof that she can still respond. It's not about new lovers. It's about rediscovering herself in the reflection of desire. Freud called this sublimation, turning fear of aging into creative or sensual energy. And he was right, because what looks like lust is often the search for renewal. To feel wanted again is to feel seen again. And that simple act can rewrite years of invisibility. This is why some women at 40 or 50 burn brighter than they ever did at 20. They no longer seek to please, they seek to experience. They don't crave approval, they crave depth. And when a man can meet that depth without flinching, he becomes unforgettable. Because lust at this age isn't about escaping life, it's about embracing it. It's not fantasy, it's freedom. And the woman who has faced loss, failure, silence, knows exactly what she's risking when she opens herself again. That's what makes her dangerous and divine. Lust for her is not sin, it's survival. It's the proof that the fire never left. It was only waiting for her to stop apologizing for its heat. The older she gets, the less she fears desire, because she's finally learned to own it. And in that ownership, she becomes magnetic. She doesn't need a man to excite her. She needs one who can contain her. Because energy like hers can't be impressed, it has to be met. And that's where most men fail. They chase the spark, but they can't hold the fire. The woman who has lived, who has lost, and who has tasted her own power doesn't want entertainment. She wants equilibrium. She wants a man whose silence feels like strength, not absence. He doesn't compete with her intensity. He stabilizes it. Because his power isn't reactive, it's rooted. He doesn't seek to control her emotions. He controls his own. That's what makes him rare. Most men interpret passion as invitation. The strong man interprets it as information. He reads her volatility, her contradictions, her storms, without taking them personally. He lets her burn, without trying to extinguish her. That's where attraction becomes alchemy. Two people, both awake, both aware, neither trying to win, only to understand. It's not about dominance anymore. It's about depth. She's not impressed by charm, she's drawn to composure. To the man who listens without flinching, who looks her in the eye and doesn't move. Because in that stillness, she finally feels safe enough to surrender. Not to him, but to herself. This is the paradox men never learn. The less you try to control her, the more she opens. The moment you stop performing, you start influencing. And that's when intimacy becomes something sacred, not a battle for power, but a mirror of truth. The man who matches her intensity doesn't tame her. He matches her rhythm. He doesn't shrink in her light. He steadies it, because he knows that strength isn't proven through dominance. It's revealed through discipline. And in that balance, desire finally feels like peace. Youth burns fast, maturity burns steady. He is not her fantasy, he is her reflection. And together, they are the flame and the calm. That's the essence of masculine mastery, to understand the chaos without losing the center, to love deeply without surrendering self-control. Because in the end, it's not the loud man she remembers, it's the one who could meet her silence and not look away. Youth burns quick, maturity burns deep. Older women aren't more sexual because they're wilder. They're more sexual because they're awake. The difference between impulse and intention is mastery.